Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Semper Abdushakur from Kinawa School, Form 1B, and I'm standing behind such a wonderful building here at Kasubi tombs, where some few kings of Buganda were buried, like Kabaka Daudi Chwa, Sir Edward Mutesa II, and the others. Somebody who doesn't know history is capable of repeating some mistakes of life. What? History. To be able to learn from it and also to avoid mistakes which were made in the past. So briefly, Kasubi Tombs, the building in front, used to be a palace of one of our kings, and that was Mutesa I. Before he came here, he was living where we now have the Catholic Church, Rubaga. Maybe you have not been there, but you have heard about it, Rubaga Cathedral. Eh? So exactly where the church is, that's where the palace of Mutesa I used to be. But after outbreak of smallpox, the Kabaka was forced to leave that place, and he came here in 1882. That is about 148 years ago. Before we were all born, before our parents were born, before our grandparents were born. And when you look at that building, it is built with only, most is local material. Zimbiddwa n'ebintu byaffe ebya bulijjo. Local materials like grass, reeds, and backcloth. But these things are not durable, that they can last for those years, 148 years. So for me, what I pick from that is, for 148 years, there has been active conservation. People have been passionate about it. Bajjajja baffe bali abaatusooka, omutima ogwo gw'okwagala okuuma ebyabwe gwababeeramu, ne bagusomesa n'abaana ne bagusomesa abaki, ne basobola okuuma ennyumba eyo nga bw'ogiraba olwaleero emyaka 148. You get it? But we have seen people today, bazadde baabwe bwe bagenda, when their parents die, oba grandparents, nga batunda ebintu, nga batunda, they sell their parents' houses, items, they dissolve the family. Nebeera nga tekyakola ki. So what we learn from that is the commitment. Kakati, today we are the current generation. Tuyinza okubeera nga kati ffe weetuli, naye ate mwe mukola ki? Mwe mujja. Muli mu luki? Muli mu lugendo. Naye olugendo olwo bakuteeseteese batya? How are you prepared for that journey? Are you going to destroy what you found, or you're going to conserve? So this is in relation with your visit. You are not here to waste time, but you are learning something important. 148 years ago, abantu abaliwo bagenda dda. 4 generations. Therefore, the other thing, Kasubi Tombs is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A UNESCO World Heritage in the whole of Uganda. So members, we are almost winding up with our briefing. Temukowa, you're still musayi gwammwe gukyali gw'amaanyi. Temwesaasira. Yes, Africa is not like Europe. In Europe, beesaasira mu kibali awo. Nanyiga pesa kino ne kijja. Nanyiga kino ne kijja. But in Africa, it's real exercise. But you begin it early. When you get used to it, you don't get. So we were saying Kasubi Tombs, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site for 3 reasons. It's the biggest hut in the whole world, built with local materials. It is a masterpiece of African creativity, and it's a living testimony of our traditions. That's why it is a UNESCO site. In the whole of Uganda, we have 3 UNESCO sites. We have got Bwindi. You have heard about Bwindi? What do we find there? We find what? We find there gorillas. So in the whole world, we have almost 279 families of gorillas in the whole world. But Uganda has half of them, which makes it the best home to see gorillas. That's why it is a UNESCO heritage site. The other UNESCO site is Rwenzori Mountain. You have heard about Rwenzori Mountain? It is also very impressive to tourists who are able to climb to the top. They see what they can't see anywhere. Topography, nature-wise, it's impressive. So, but those 2 are natural. Kasubi Tombs is the cultural one. The only cultural site in Uganda under UNESCO. What does the word UNESCO mean? In your ears, what you need to understand is this. When a site, when a place is put under UNESCO, or recognized by UNESCO, it is very unique. There's something unique they cannot find anywhere in the world. Very unique. UNESCO is a UN organization, United Nations. Ekitongole ekyo kirina amaanyi mangi nnyo. Bwe kijja ne kigamba nti kati somero lyammwe baliyita batya? Ne bagamba nti Kinaawa High School tugitadde mu UNESCO. Kitegeeza nti olaba balese amasomero amalala gonna ne bateeka lino mu UNESCO lya njawulo. N'olwekyo bwe tugamba we have 3 UNESCO sites mu nsi yonna, mu Uganda yonna, kitegeeza nti ebifo ebyo biri very unique. Therefore, you are here to discover the uniqueness of this site. If you live without discovering that uniqueness, you have cheated yourself, and yet you have paid for this service. Are we together? So we are going to get down. We shall need boys on one side and girls on one side. And when we get to the entrance, we shall remove our shoes, get seated inside there and get more information. Once you get girls this side, boys the other side, you remove your shoes. What I need from you is your ears, and the rest you can switch them off. There will be time for you to ask. Some of you have been trained to work under orders, so just lend me your ears. You are here to harvest knowledge. Okay? So I say there are 4 pictures in front of us, and those are the 4 kings who are resting in this place. In the middle, we have the one with the black hat and round, the black round hat and large eyes. That is Ssekabaka Mutesa I, and is the owner of this place. Mutesa is greatly remembered as the king who welcomed the first European explorers. We had John Huntington speak and James Grant. These people, they had come looking for the source of River Nile. When they came here, they told them, you cannot proceed with your journey unless you get permission from the Kabaka of Buganda. And that time, he was Mutesa the First. They came and declared the purpose of their visit. The Kabaka gave them a go-ahead and he gave them escorts who took them where the source was, and that is in Jinja. On the 28th of July, these people set their eyes for the very first time to the source. Even if the local people had already seen it, but in their books they write that Speke and Grant discovered the source of River Nile. Yet the local people had already seen it. Mutesa also received another guest after those ones left. That was Henry Morton Stanley. He had been sent to Africa to look for Dr. Livingstone, dead or alive. Dr. Livingstone had come in Africa for a mission, but his people lost contact of him. And they got so worried. What has happened to our man? Did animals eat him? And that time there were no mobile phones like we have today that they would ring. Therefore, it is the reason why Stanley was sent to go and look for Dr. Livingstone. He met him in Tanzania, alive. And that's where he said the common slogan, Dr. Livingstone, I presume. But because these explorers who came earlier, they had written a very good report, very good review, good news about Buganda. Buganda by then was a silent giant, which was not discovered. Therefore, Stanley also said, since the explorers had a very good experience in Buganda, let me also go there and see that king. So he met Mutesa the First. They held diplomatic meetings and they exchanged ideas. Stanley told him more about the Western culture, which was reading, writing, and Christianity. In Buganda at that time, we did not have formal literature of our own, and so the history, the knowledge, the traditions have been orally passed down from one generation to another. But the Kabaka was interested for his people to acquire new skills of keeping their records. He asked Stanley, how can my people learn how to read and write like your people where you come from? Stanley told him, we can write a letter. That letter, the original copy, can be found in the Uganda Museum. It was written on behalf of the king, and it was persuading missionaries to come here and teach the people of Buganda and other neighbors how to read and write. Therefore, you people being in school, you are a living testimony of Mutesa's vision, because he saw that somebody needs to acquire skills of keeping records. Some of our grandparents died with their information because there was no room, there was no opportunity to put them into written. So Mutesa I is currently remembered for his visionary support of education in Uganda. Schools that have understood that, schools that have been here and they have agreed that Mutesa is the pioneer of education in Uganda, you can always find the picture of Mutesa I in their offices. It doesn't mean that the school belongs to Buganda, but it means they understood what he did to contribute to education. Therefore, it is every parent's effort to take their children in school. You are in school because it is a requirement for you to be able to open doors that perhaps some of your parents failed to do what? To open. That when you go in school, you stand in a better position to open so many doors. I remember my grandfather, he never called me a grandson in his life. He called me software update, if you have heard about that word. So the young generation is software update. You are going to update the old one, which you have found, and you bring a new system in this world. But the question is, which kind of software are you bringing here? Which kind of software are you learning in schools? Therefore, Mutesa is greatly remembered for that. The Kabaka had several wives because he needed to marry from every clan. It was not just for fun, just to be very clear about that. Mutesa had 84 wives, but because he needed to marry from every clan of Uganda. And most of us here, all of us here, we are not kings. So that is not up for you to learn from. He also had so many children, but his son, Sekabaka Daniel Mwanga, succeeded him. Mutesa passed on 1884, and he was the first king to be laid in this building. That's why we now call it the Kasubi tombs. But initially, it was called Kasubi Palace. And the Kabaka had also given it a name. The Buganda kings gave names to their palaces. This one was called Muzibu Azala Mpanga. Thank you. Clap for her. This one here. Muzibu Azala Mpanga. That was the name of this is the name of this house. These people who have not been here, they call it Kasubi tombs. But those who have been here like you, they now know. You tell them, it is not Kasubi tombs. Kabaka gave his house a name, and it is called Muzibu Azala Mpanga. This comes from a saying that the Kabaka is not a joke. Therefore, when you are addressing prince and princesses, we call them Sir. Abalangira n'abambejja bonna tubayita baani bassebo. Tetulinayo omubejja gwe bayita nnyabo, era bw'omuyita nnyabo oba omuyisizaamu amaaso. N'olwekyo Abaganda ne bateekawo enjogera nti Kabaka muzibu tazaala nseera naye azaala ki? Mpanga. N'olwekyo ly'erinnya ly'ennyumba eno, Muzibu Azala Mpanga. He was brought rest below his picture. N'olwekyo kyekyenjawulo ekiri ku masiro nti abalala boogerako byogere kye Kasubi waliyo bakabaka, naye ffe bakabaka tukola ki? Bakabaka bana, 4 generations resting in this great building. Sekabaka Mwanga was a king between 1884 to 1903. His reign was full of wars. I guess they have told you about Mwanga in the palace. Have they? Have they told you about Mwanga? So his reign was full of wars, religious wars and colonial resistance. When these white men came, the British, they wanted to take over the kingdom of his forefathers, and Mwanga stood firm. He told them, "You did not come with anything here. This land belongs to my forefathers, and it is my obligation to protect it for the next generation." That caused him imprisonment, and he was exiled in the Seychelles Island, where he died in 1903. So we have his body here. Today, as we mention heroes of Uganda's independence, and you don't mention Mwanga, your research is incomplete, or maybe you are hiding something, because he initiated the struggle for our independence. He may not have won the resistance, but he made a wake-up call to the rest of the liberators who borrowed his courage and stood firm to fight for the liberty of Uganda at large. King Mwanga was succeeded by his son Sakabaka Daudi Chwa, the one on my right hand side. He's dressed with a crown on his head, with a black royal robe on his body, majestically like a European king. Daudi Chwa's reign was challenging because He's a king who did not have a chance to see his father alive. He was raised by a single mother. Why do I talk about this? Some of you may be victim of what I'm talking about, raised by single parents. It happens everywhere. Even the Kabaka was raised by a single mother. And when he ascended on the throne of his forefathers, Buganda was attacked by foreign powers, which was a dangerous situation. But the Kabaka was assisted by the regents who ruled on his behalf until when he was 18 years. So that literally means that when trouble comes into your life, it does not question your age. Whether you are old or young, you should be ready for whatever comes, because the world does not question the years you have. You can imagine Kabaka Daudi Chwa was very young, but he had to succeed the throne, which was with a lot of problems. King Daudi Chwa's reign was very progressive. It was during his time that girls were allowed to go to school. Before, they were not going to school. I guess they have told you that in Mengo. And Daudi Chwa, when he traveled in Europe, he said, no, we have delayed to send the girl child to school, because he had met several female professors, teachers, engineers who were female. And he said, what are we doing? What are we waiting for in Uganda? Let all girls go to school. If I was a lady, I would clap for him. So it was still during his time that football was brought here, and also church wedding. We didn't have church weddings here. Not only church weddings, but even the Muslims have their weddings. It is called what? Nikah. But all that freedom was brought in here by King Daudi Chwa. What do we learn from his life? He made one trip to Europe in 1913, but he changed a lot in Uganda. Most of our leaders today, they have a chance to go to Europe. Their visas are not restricted. When they submit in their passports, they easily give them visas to go out in Europe. But the question is, what do they learn? What do they see there? You may be forced to think that maybe during their trips, they don't see good roads. They don't see good hospitals, so that they can also bring them here. What this means that every opportunity that comes, use it, because you are not sure whether you will be given a second opportunity. Just like Daudi Chwa made one trip to Europe, and he came back and changed Uganda in a way that gives it great glory. He was succeeded by King Edward Frederick Mutesa II, the last picture. That one, I guess you have been told a lot of information about him, because you are from his palace, and that's where most of his history originates from. What I want to talk about Mutesa, it is his reign. What do we learn? They told you about the 1966 crisis, him being the first president. They also told you that. What do we learn from his time? He's one of the leaders, few leaders in Uganda that were blessed with a lot of powers. Because being a king of the largest tribe in Uganda, and also being a president of the whole country, he was extremely on top of everyone. But it is not written anywhere that he misused his office or he misused powers. Today, we have seen people, our leaders, when they are given a chance to serve in public offices, they walk away with public funds. And instead of them retiring, they are submitted into commissions of inquiry. So, when you are given time to serve, you should use it properly. When you have a lot of powers, you must not use those powers to fight the weak. That is not what God says. When you are strong, you are supposed to uplift the weak. not to fight them, just like we pick a leaf from Mutesa's reign. When Mutesa II was attacked in 66, he escaped and went in England. Somebody may say he was a coward. No. I remember when I was watching Mutesa's interview on one of the YouTube channels. When he was landing in London, the journalists asked him, "What have you come to do here? Why are you here?" It was such a provoking question, but I liked his answer. He told them, "I am here because I've been attacked. But most importantly, the life of my people is very important than my position." This means that the Baganda and other well-wishers were so ready to fight on the side of the Kabaka to make sure that he remains in power. But he looked far and he said, "If I stay in the country, most of my people will be killed." But today, it doesn't matter. Our leaders don't care how many people die, as long as they remain in power. Sometimes you don't have to hold on. If you are holding a sharp knife and you're fighting for it, holding on does not mean you're very strong. You're hurting yourself too much beyond your ability. You let it go. That is also victory. It takes courage for you to say, "Okay, this is not for me, but for the good of the people, I will let it go." Why do we say these things to you? Because you are students today, but tomorrow you are going to be leaders. You are not going to be in school forever. I've been told you are senior one. I think in the next 8 years, you'll be independent. You'll not be in school. So also be very careful the time you have in school. You have no time to stay behind. Just keep going forward. But in the future, when you become leaders, these things should reflect in your ears, and you remember that having powers does not mean we should step on other people's. So that's what we learn from Mutesa's reign. And today we have a king. His name is His Majesty Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II. He's a biological son of Mutesa II. On the 31st of this month, it will be 33 years since when he was crowned. It's a very special day. I hope you mark it, and I hope your school gives you room to celebrate it. It is going to be our 33rd anniversary of the Kabaka of Buganda. Kings today, they are not political, that you know, but they are traditional, though they are very influential. In Buganda, our king comes first. We love him, honestly speaking. Don't you love him? We are so sensitive to his feelings. Anything that attacks the king attacks us. Therefore, he's quite influential. With those few words, I would want to wind up. In most cases, when I have students like you, I always give you some words of wisdom, not just to take history home, but you also need some words of wisdom. After those words of wisdom, I'll ask you 5 questions, which we shall answer, and then I'll also give you a chance at least to ask 5 questions. 2 questions will be from the girls, and 2 questions will be from the boys. 1 question will be from the teacher. Words of wisdom, we are going to talk about the word Bantu. You have heard that word in all your primary school. They have been teaching you about Bantu. What does that word mean? Bantu means what? So today we have to learn it deep, because these Europeans, they didn't know our language. Uganda is so rich in language. It's not like English. English doesn't have a lot of words. You can see somebody says stand straight, stand firm. It is one word being repeated with different other words. But if you change those words in Luganda, there will be different interpretations. So Bantu comes from a word etu. You have heard about the word etu? What does the two means? Huh? Things? Hmm? Not very clear. Okay, somebody else to try. What does the word etu mean? Etu literally means a package. Etu ly'emmwanyi, etu ly'ebinyeebwa. So the word Bantu comes from that word etu. The Baganda, we are trying to define who we are. That we are human beings, but inside us we have several packages. Munda muffe mulimu amatu mangi agatukola omuntu. N'olwekyo munda omwo mu matu there is etu ery'obuntu bulamu, which is humanity, etu ery'okwagaliza, etu ery'okusonyiwa banno nga bakoze obubi mu butali bugenderere, etu ery'okuwangana ekitiibwa newankubadde ng'omuntu omusinga byonna naye n'osigala ng'omuwaki ekitiibwa. Ekyo nakyo kibeera mu ffe, bwe buntu obwo obutini obuwundiddwa mu ffe. There are the several packages that are inside us. But for us to believe that your packages are alive, they must manifest in you. Tulina okulaba ng'olina ekisa. Tulina okulaba ng'osaasira abalumwa. Tulina okulaba ng'osonyiwa abakozi obubi. Tulina okulaba nga tolina bujja, tolina nnugu, fitina, enge, obukyayi, ebyo si birungi, tebibeera mu buntu buli. N'olwekyo bwe tukulaba ng'ebyo tobirina, tujja kugamba nti omuntu oyo alina obuntu bulamu. Obuntu bwe muye buki? Bulamu. Naye bw'obanga ebyo tobirina, tujja kugamba nti obuntu bwo bwakola ki? Bwafa. Obuntu bwo munda mu ggwe bwakola ki? Si bulamu. Therefore, we are called Bantu because inside us we have several packages which are called Ubuntu. But for them to be alive, we must see them manifesting in your life. And that's when we say your packages are alive. Ubuntu bo bulamu. When we have those packages alive, they bring us close to the people. Ubuntu bulamu obwo butusembereza abaki? Butusembereza abantu. Temwalidde emmere? Kale obuntu obwo butusembereza abantu. Abantu tebajja gye tuli kubanga tuli balungi. No. In English they say beauty can take you in the palace, but your character will determine how long you will stay in the what? In the palace. Obulungi bwo bunaakusembereza abantu, kale tulina mutawaana ku ekyo. Naye neeyisaayo enaasalawo ekiseera ky'onaamala n'abaki? N'abantu. Therefore, when we have those packages alive and they bring us people, tufuna ebiki? Bwe tukola n'abantu ne tufuna ebiki? Ne tufuna ebintu. Are we together? Tugambye nti tuyitibwa abantu kubanga munda muffe mulimu obuntu. Obuntu obwo buki? Bulamu. Bwe bayita obuntu bulamu. Omungereza ye ebigambo byamusobera n'agiyita humanity. Si bwe kiri? Kati obuntu bulamu buno kwe tusinzirira okwegomba. Era oyinza okugamba nti omuntu ono ku feesi talabika bulungi. Naye buli muntu gy'alaga bakola ki? Bamwagala, bamwaniriza. Naye ate oli ku feesi anyirira, naye buli w'alaga bakola ki? Bamwekokkola. N'olwekyo kitegeeza nti ye anyirira kungulu naye obuntu bwe bwakola ki? Bwafa. Kale obuntu buno butusembereza abaki? Abantu. Era tufube nnyo okubeera nabwo. Tubujjuze mu mmeeme zaffe ne mitima gyaffe buli bwe tulaga abantu basobole okukola ki? Okutwagala. Ate bwe tumala okufuna abantu be tukola nabo, olwo ne tufuna ebiki? Ebintu. Era tukirabye emirundi mingi ng'abazadde boonoona formula y'ekintu kino. Mu kifo ky'okuteekamu abaana obuntu ate ne babawa ebiki? Ekyo nno kikyamu. Kubanga omuntu nga talina buntu tasobola kukuuma biki? Wabula ate alina obuntu ne bw'aba talina bintu asobola obikola ki? Kale nno ekyo kye tutuyisa abantu. It does not literally mean we are people. Bantu means people. That's the deep meaning of that word. I'll also lastly talk about challenges of education. In education, ngamu abayizi oluusi mugwa ebibuuzo oba ne bakuwa ekibuuzo munno n'afuna makisi nga ntini. Kakati omuntu oyo n'ayisibwa bubi nnyo kubanga akoze eki? Failing his tuition to success. failing is tuition to. Era omuntu atasobyangako mu bulamu nze mweraliikirira nnyo kubanga atamanyi bulamu kye bulina gyali. So when you fail and you feel bad about failing, it's okay for you to feel it. It literally means that you were not born to lose. But if somebody feels good after losing, oyo bamuteekerateekera kola ki? Kufiirwa. Kubanga agudde n'okuseka n'akola ki? N'aseka. Naye ono agudde naye n'alumwa n'aga nti lwaki nakoze ki? Nagudde. N'olwekyo omuntu bw'omulaba ng'agudde tosekerera musekerere, wabula omukwata ku mukono n'omusitula n'omuwa ebigambo ebizaamu amaanyi nti naawe okola ki? Osobola. N'olwekyo ebigambo ebyo bye mbagambye mubifumitirizeeko nga bwe mutambula obulamu bwammwe obw'okusoma. Kakati kambabuze ebibuzo byange 5, oluvannyuma namwe mumbuzeeyo ebyammwe biki, tujja kuba tumaliriza ensonga eno. Obwakabaka buno bwe twogerako buyitibwa linnya ki? Nandyagadde ffenna ne tudiramu wamu kubanga munnange ono yabadde yeebase, ayinza okuba teyawulidde biri ebyasoose. Okirabye ekintu ekyo? Obwakabaka buno buyitibwa ki? Buganda. Kale naawe mutandise okutuuka ebibuuzo. Wabulayo bimeka? Ate abantu abali mu bwakabaka buno? Baganda. Ekyo nakyo mukiise. Ate olulimi lwe boogera? Uganda. N'ekyo nakyo mukiise. Kakati bw'abeera omu abeera Muganda. Ate ensi mwe bava bano? N'olwekyo bw'owulira ebigambo ebyo mwekubireko mu ngalo, ebyo ebibuuzo 5 mubikoze eki? Mubiyise. Bw'owulira ebigambo ebyo bifaanagana 5 era tolina bw'ogamba nti manyi Uganda naye Buganda sikola ki? Oba weerimba wekka. Kubanga ebyafaayo bya Uganda bito nnyo ku bya Buganda. Ebya Buganda biviira ddala ku myaka 8 okusoba. Naye Uganda gye twogerako yazaalibwa mu 1962. It is wrong to say that you know Uganda but you don't know Buganda. I would say you are either hiding something or your research is incomplete. Because the capital city is also found in Buganda. It was not accidental. It was not coincidental. The airport is also found in Buganda. It's the gateway to the country. So there's no way you can say I visited Uganda, but I didn't visit Buganda. I want to say that I am exceedingly humbled and profoundly honored to have got this moment with you. I thank your teachers for creating this time. Not all schools get this chance. Amasomero gabeereeyo abaana baffe ne batafuna mukisa gumanya bintu bino. Naye essomero lyammwe mulikubireko mu ngalo kubanga likoze omulimu guno libaleeta wano. N'olwekyo katufuneyo ebibuuzo 5, tusooke n'abaana ab'obuwala ate tudde ku balenzi. Abawala 2 n'abalenzi 2. Ojja bw'onooba obuuza ojja kuyimirira oyogere erinnya lyo obuuze kubanga twewala okuddamu okubuuza ekibuuzo kye kimu.
My name is Nakale Shanza, and my question is that has this place ever got banned?
Our colleague here, though I've not heard her name properly, Nakalule, should not be ashamed of your name. Your name makes you unique. Even the first name makes you even more unique. So Nakalule asked a question that has this place ever gotten banned? Yes, in 2010 we had the tragedy of the fire. Bad people came and burnt this place. It was very hurting, touching to lose such a great heritage in flames of fire. It was not accidental. It seemed to be something planned, but we don't know who did it. We are also wondering who did it. However, in my daily life, I have a slogan that keeps me moving. Perhaps you can also borrow it. It is not how many times you fall. It is how quick you stand when you fall. Tofaayo mirundi emeka gy'ogudde naye osituka mu bwangu ne weekubako enfuufu n'okola ki? N'otambula. N'olwekyo naffe ennyumba eno bwe baagyokya twalumwa naye tetwasigala awo mu kunyolwa nga tukungubaga. twatandikirawo ne tuzimba ki ennyumba eno era kakati mwe tutudde etutte emyaka 14 nga tugizimba si ya kuzannya. Kakati ffe omulembe gwaffe gusobodde okugizaawo era kakati ffe tugibakwasizza ngeri mu mbeera nnungi. Kakati omulembe gwammwe gulina kugikola ki kugikuuma. Webale nnyo kibuuzo ekyo. Omulala.
Amannya nze Johari Nawira. Tukirizibwa okugenda n'okulaba wali ku ntaana z'Abakabaka.
Okay. Munnaffe Nabulya? Nabulya. Nabwire. Munnaffe Nabwire abuuza ekibuuzo obanga tukirizibwa okutuukako wali bakabaka we bakola ki we baazikibwa. Ekyo bakabaka tekikirizibwa. Era bw'otunuulira emabega w'entimba ezo amasiro g'abakabaka gye gali, naye ne kabaka yennyini ali ku Namulondo takirizibwa kugenda amasiro ago gye gakola ki tuyitayo mu kibira, kubanga bakabaka tebafa naye bakola ki babula bubuzi. N'olwekyo kyakusaalirwa nnyo nti tetusobola kukola ki, naye bw'otunuulira wano emabega w'amafumu waliwo ebyefaananyiriza amasiro gaabwe twabiteekawo abagenyi baffe basobole okufuna ekifaananyi kiki ekiri emabega w'entimbe. Kyokka abagendayo okulabirirayo be bamu ku bakyala ba kabaka benkakasa nti abamu mu bali kumpi, waliwo tubeera n'abakyala ba kabaka abo abaasikira abakyala bali bennyini. N'olwekyo be bali mu buweereza obwo bo balina omukisa oba oli awo gugendayo okulongoosa n'okutereeza. Tubeera n'abakyala 4 mu nnyumba eno buli mwezi, kubanga bakabaka balimu bameka 4. Kale buli kabaka alina okubeera n'omusika w'omukyala we, kubanga ensonga ezikwata ku ye zikolwako mukyala we. Naye ffe abantu aba bulijjo kababe balangira kababe bambejja tetukkirizibwa kugenda mabega w'ekibira. Abalenzi 2. Yesebo.
Amannya bampita Lubega Azhar. Nze abadde abuuza nti omulangira Nakibinge bw'anaafa bagenda muziikawo.
Erinnya ogambye? Munnaffe Lubega abeera Wangabi?
Yeah.
Ow'Engabi abuuza nti omulangira Kasimu Nakibinge singa aba avudde mu bulamu bw'ensi eno anaaterekebwawa. Mpozi mujja kumpayo eddakiika emu awo nsobole okukinyonyola obulungi. Ssekabaka Muteesa asooka ono n'omulangira Nuhu Mbogo, abantu abo abalangira abo 2 baali baana ba Ssekabaka Ssuuna. Abaana ba Ssekabaka Ssuuna abasinga okumanyikibwa ennyo mu byafaayo. Era Abasiraamu Abawarabu bwe bajja wano be ba first foreigners. The first foreigners in Uganda, they were Arabs. When they came here, when they came here, they managed to convince one of the Kabaka's son, Nuhu Mbogo, and he converted to Islam. Era Mbogo bwe yali tanaba kusiramuka baamugamba nti munnange kabaka tayiwa musaayi mu bugenderere, ate okufuuka omusiraamu olina okukola ki okukomolebwa. N'olwekyo Mbogo n'ayogera ebigambo bino nti sifuddeeyo ne bwe siibeera ani kabaka, banaalonda mu balangira abaki abalala, naye nze nnonze okubeera omusiraamu. Ekyo n'ekigambo si kitono eri Abayisiraamu, kubanga kabaka okuleka ekitiibwa ekya Namulondo n'asigala obubezi omugoberezi wa Allah kyokka, ekyo kyetaaga omuntu ng'alina okubikkulirwa okw'amaanyi. Ekyo ne kijja Nuhu Mbogo mu layini y'abalangira abasobola okusikira ki Namulondo. Era muganda we Muteesa II n'alya ki eŋŋoma. N'olwekyo bwe tuba twogera ku ly'olulangira wano mu Buganda tubalina mu madiini gonna. Waliwo abalangira n'abambejja abakwata sayidi eyaki ey'Abayisiraamu, era tugamba nti omulangira ono oba omumbejja bw'aba musiraamu tugamba nti yakwata sayidi yani ya Mbogo. Ate bwe tutunulira nga waliwo Abakristaayo abo ne tugamba nti bakwata sayidi yani ya Muteesa asooka, kubanga ye yayaniriza aba missionaries wano. Omulangira Nuhu Mbogo teyakoma kufuuka musiraamu kyokka wabula n'obusiraamu yabulwanirira n'abuteekamu amaanyi ge gonna, era erinnya erya Mbogo lyamuweebwa basajja be kubanga bwe yali ng'aduumira olutalo yabagambanga nti mulwane ennyo ng'embogo, temulekeraawo obusiraamu bufune obwogerero. Era ebintu bingi obusiraamu bwe byatuukako, musigale eno gye ndi, abagenyi mubawe buwi we bayita kubanga ekiseera kituweddeko, nga maliriza ensonga eno nti obusiraamu bwafuna ebintu bingi era ne buweebwa enkizo. Kabaka yabuwa n'essaza eryewa, saza ki kabaka lyawa abaisiraamu? Ebutambala. Mwebale nnyo. Essaza ly'ebutambala eryo era lyava mu kufuba kwani? Kwa Nuhu Mbogo. Mukitegedde? Kyetuva tubeera n'enjogera egamba nti ebutambala teva mu ki? Muto. Kubanga kabaka bw'aba abuuzibwa, ffenna enkofiira tuzikola ki? Tuziggyako. Naye ekiisiraamu tekola ki? Tevaako. Kale oyo taba mukulu abuuza kabaka ng'enkofiira kweri? Kale abantu abasinga bavanga wa? Butambala. Okusala ebisolo, ekyo nakyo ne kiweebwa abaisiraamu. Nuhu Mbogo n'ategeeza muganda we ti munnange ojja kugabula ennyama, abaisiraamu abamu bagaana ogikola ki? Okugirya kubanga nki? Nkaafu. N'olwekyo Ssaabasajja siima okusala kw'ebisolo byonna were nga kukolebwa baki? Baisiraamu. Kakati okubeera omusiraamu kyokka nga tutaddeeko bulooka oba olina ekibulako, kale Mbogo wabyafaayo nnyo mu Buisiraamu ne muki? Ne mu Buganda. Nuhu Mbogo yazaala omulangira Badiru Kakungulu. Era omulangira Badiru Kakungulu bwe yagabana ku bintu bya kitaawe ebya Nuhu Mbogo, mwalimu n'ekifaawo wali omuzikiti gw'Ekibuli. Eyo yali share yiye, nga yiye kitaawe yagimuwa. Naye bwe baamuwa olusozi n'agamba nti sijja kuzimba nnyumba yange ku ki? Ku lusozi. Muddire ennyumba ya Allah gye muba muteeka ku ki? Eyange ebeerewa wansi. Kakati mu bigambo bino ebyaliwo ebiseera ebyo waliwo eky'Oluwalabu kye bayita ki? Kibra. Naye omulangira Badiru kyamukaluubiriranga nnyo okwogera. Yabagamba nti muzimbe ennyumba ya Allah ng'etunudde mu Kibuli. Kakati erinnya eryo akasozi k'Ekibuli bwekava okuyitibwa ki? Kibuli. Naye Badiru yali ategeeza Kibra nti mugizimbe ng'etunudde mu ki? Kubanga mu Luganda sisuubirayo kigambo kiyitibwa ki? Kibuli. N'olwekyo Badiru Kakungulu yazaala omulangira Kasimu Nakibinge. Ekyo kituwa kya kuyiga kinga maliriza nti waliwo famire mu Buganda wano ne mu nsi eziyimiridde n'obwenkanya, ne ziyimirira ku mazima, tebafaayo oba nga kikosa ki. Famire esooka okulabirako ye ya jjajjaffe Nuhu Kyabasinga Mbogo, era mwe muva omulangira Kasimu Nakibinge. Kale nga nkuddamu ekibuuzo kyo nsonyiwa nandazeemu okusobola okubagirayo kubanga mwenna ndaba nga muli baki? Baisiraamu. Mpulira emirundi mingi abasiraamu baba balwana baagala nnyo okgenda ewa? E Mecca. Naye nze ndowooza mu ndowooza yange oba oli awo etalinza kuba ntuufu nti kyalibadde kirungi ng'omuntu annagenda Mecca n'asooka atunuulira entaana ya Nuhu Mbogo bwefaanana, kubanga yali mpagi nnene mu kuyimirizaawo buki? Obuisiraamu. N'olwekyo bw'ogenda e Mecca nga Mbogo tali bulungi, naawe kennyini oba weeryazaamaanyiza. So omulangira oyo singa abanga avudde mu bulamu obw'ensi eno alina wangi w'okuterekebwa, ayinza okusalawo n'agamba nti kajje ne wajjajjaawe Mutesa asooka, ayinza okugamba nti kagende wajjajjaawe Nuhu Mbogo, oba ye wanaaba akoze ki? Wanaaba asiimye. Kansabe omusomesa abuuze ekibuuzo tumalirize.
Erinnya Ssemaganda Lawrence Mukiragwante okuva erudda n'erudda, muzzukulu wa Nsamba era nga neddira Ngabi. Ebibuuzo nina bibiri naye nga sinnabuuza, waliwo kye mbadde nange njagala okwongerako. Nsonga lwaki bakabaka wali bwe bagalamiziddwa bayitayo kibira kiva ku kabaka eyasooka, kabaka Kintu eyabulira mu kibira ne Katikkiro w'Ekisolo. Era we weekanga ekintu ekyo bakubuuza nti weekanze eki, Kintu oba Kisolo? Kubanga bakabaka abo tebalina maki malaale, kitegeeza baakola ki? Baabula bubuzi. N'olwekyo kabaka eno waffe bw'aseerera ne tugamba nti akoze eki? Tyabuzze, n'abula n'agenda wa? Mu kibira. Nga tujjukira Ssekabaka, ate ye tetumuyita Ssekabaka kubanga talina ki malaalo, kabaka Kintu ne Katikkiro we Kisolo. Ebibuuzo ebibiri, ekisooka, lwaki amasiro gano gaawundibwa mu ngeri ya kibbo? Bw'otunuulira waggulu engeri gye gaawundibwamu gafaananamu ekibbo. Ekyokubiri, empagi ennyingi eziri muno bwe mba sibaze bubi zibadde oba 52, zo zitegeeza ki? Bye bibuuzo byange bibiri.
Omusomesa tweyanziza nnyo n'ekyokuyiga ekyo ky'otuwadde. Kansubire nti abala abateebase omukisa gubakutte, bannaffe abeebase bwe bityo bwe bibeera. Ennyumba eno eri mu ngeri ey'ekibbo kubanga ennyumba ya kabaka erukwa bulukwa era erukwa na ngalo, tewaliwo kyuma kyonna, era erina ebizizi 55, badde obulako 3 biweza. Naye ebisatu ebisooka wakati byakolebwa kabaka yennyini, kubanga wano mu Buganda kabaka tatuduumira wabula atulaga ekyokukola nga naye kennyini yenyigiramu. N'olwekyo ebizizi ebyo byakolwa kabaka yennyini. Ate ebisigadde 52 buli kika kyakolako ekizizi kitya kimu, kubanga bye bika ebyaliwo mu biseera ebyo. N'olwekyo ekyo kikulaga nti Obuganda buwundiddwa wamu ng'ekibbo. Wootuukira ku nnamunsi okumutuusaako obulabe, olina kusooka kumalawo baki Baganda, ekitali kyangu. Akati ke kabonero tulaba omwo. Muyinza okubeera nga mwazze n'ebirabo bya kabaka. Ebibbo bino ebina ebiri wano, oli wa ddembe okuteekamu ky'oyagala n'ogamba nti abakyala ba kabaka bano nabo kabeeyagale okusinziira ku busobozi bwo. Naye bwe kitaba ekyo, bwe tunaaba nga tufuluma okugenda, nja kusaba tusooke tukkirize abaana ab'obuwala bo bagende, okubanga abalenzi temunyiiga era mukiyiga okuva na leero nti abakyala be bakola ki? Be basooka bw'obanga onooyagala okufuna emirembe. Naye bw'oneesoosa ojja kubeera nga mukola ki? Mu kukaayana. N'olwekyo tukkirize abakyala basooke bafulume, ate oluvannyuma naffe abalenzi tunaakomawo.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ruaida Adam Musa from China High School, Kawempe. We are here at the Kasubi Royal Tombs, and I would like to share what I have understood from this wonderful historical site. So, here's where all the Kabakas of Buganda are buried. So, we have the Kabaka Mwanga. We also have Kabaka Daudi. Before entering, the place is narrow so that you should bow for the Kabaka, showing respect. And one time in 2010, some bad people came to burn down the Kasubi tombs because the people of Buganda could not just let their wonderful historical site go like that. So they decided to rebuild it, and it took consecutively 14 years.
My name is Kaka Ismaya. I am from Kinawa High School, Kawempe. What I've learned from this historical site at Kasubi Tombs, what I've understood that Kabakas don't die, they disappear. Those who think Kabakas die, Kabakas don't die, they disappear.
I'm by names of Alwega Azhar, Senior 1A from Kinawa High School, Kawempe. Failing is a route to success. No one can fail when is not going to achieve success. Failing is a route to success. Our kings, they passed through many things like wars and many others, but they achieved more. That's what I've learned. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm by the name of Mizan Ahmed Dafallah, and I came to learn about the historical site in Uganda as much I can. I'm from Chinawa High School, Kawempe. So we came here to tour this place. As you can see the Kasumu Royal Tombs, we learned about the Kabakas. Actually, there were mainly 4. I won't mention all of them. Mostly I'll talk about the Kabaka Daudi Chwa. He was the first king in Uganda here, in Buganda Kingdom, to go to European country. And he got to learn more about the religions and behaviors that side, and where he introduced it here in Uganda. Whereby, long time ago, before our regime, girls wouldn't go to school, women do not eat chicken and other foodstuffs. But when he came back, he introduced that, whereby now girls, we are having education, and also we are getting to feed in different stuffs as much as we can. Those are the things I have learned. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.